Hey friends, it has been a minute since I've posted a video on YouTube, and I do apologize for those of you that do care and wish I would post more. I'm so honored that you're here, and I still can't believe that we have a following on YouTube, and that means a lot to us. So I do apologize for just blanking out for the past however many weeks. I've been getting some emails from you all wondering if we're okay, saying you miss us on YouTube, and that's such a blessing and an honor. And thank you for that. I still can't believe sometimes we're doing this. Anyway, I wanted to pop on as a courtesy, just give you a quick life update behind the scenes and show you our current living conditions, because maybe that will explain a little bit why we've been so absent. I feel like I'm a pack rat living in a pigsty.
How do you feel living in this big mess?
Great! Anywho, so yeah, thanks for all your care, concern for those of you that have reached out. And I again apologize. I had made a post saying, hey, it's going to be a few weeks till I upload again, and those few weeks turned into more few weeks, and those more few weeks turned into more few weeks. It has been crazy around here. Life is good. Life's amazing. But it's been pretty high pace. Where do I even begin? I don't know. So in case you missed it and aren't aware, we are doing an addition to our 1900 farmhouse. I might give you a little sneak peek in this video, but I want to save it for the build up and then the final reveal. But I will say this, I'm having a love-hate relationship with it. It feels like a monster. And I keep telling myself, I'm like, we're just a family of 4. So I'm the type of person that I love like small, compact type of things. It's never been a dream of mine to have like a huge house. These people that live in mansions with like, 10 bathrooms, 20 bathrooms, a host of bedrooms where you just get lost within the house, that doesn't even appeal to me. I like cozy and efficient and charming. However, I find myself with a big house now, and I keep asking myself, okay, we're a family of 4. This looks like a compound. This looks like something a family of 20 should be living in. No, not quite. I'm exaggerating. But anyway, and then I just asked myself, was this necessary? Was this necessary? Did we have to do this? It probably, this is first world problems. The word necessary is a loose term, and so I'm throwing that around loosely. But yes, I just keep asking myself if it really was necessary to build what we did. But at the same time, I'm loving the extra rooms that I have, the space, everything that's going to come together is going to be so nice. So I'll just give you a few quick key points, and then I'll try to cover this more in an upcoming video. What I want to do is do a farmhouse tour of our original house, and I was doing bits and pieces, and I should have done it all before we did this renovation because it's going to be a little bit harder, but I can go and get old footage and show you. But anyway, these old farmhouses, they're so charming, at least for me. I love the character of it, but they are very inefficiently laid out for at least modern day living. For one, there's basically no closets in the house. They just hardly built them in, and the ones that they did have were so narrow you couldn't even really put hangers in. So while we do have a closet in our master bedroom and a closet that we built into Xander's room, and then Lexi's little nursery nook, we put in like a small cabinetry thing. Other than that, the only other closet we have in the house was downstairs in the pantry. We kind of built that in too later. And so half of it was like shelves for a pantry, and the other half, like only like maybe 29 inches wide, was for our coats and shoes. And then we did have like a built-in porch that was for our mudroom, but it was very kind of inefficient and everything piled up. And maybe this is just a lack of organization skills, but it just felt like we had nowhere to go with our things. And so things sat out in the open and looked messy and cluttered. Anyway, that was a big thing that we really needed. Felt like we needed more space to go with our things so that you can stay more organized out in the open. So that's one big inefficient thing of these farmhouses. Another thing is there's so many like little hallways and small rooms here and there, and so it can be hard to actually make the rooms efficient. And there's like chimneys. There's like 3 chimneys in this house that run up through. And so say like the one middle wall in our house, we can't just knock it out and open things up because there's a chimney there. So like little things like that. It's just it's very inefficient. So it looks like a large house, and it is, but it's very narrow and tall. We have like 9-foot ceilings and kind of inefficiently laid out. So we currently have 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom in this house. I guess you could call a half bath in our master bedroom because we have like a whirlpool jacuzzi in there. But as far as toilet bathrooms, there's only 1. And so we really wanted one downstairs instead of upstairs. And we also wanted a bigger laundry room, and we needed some extra bedrooms. And just the way everything came together, it was going to be better to add on than to try to like gut this house out and redo it to make it efficient, because we'd have still spent a lot of money doing that, and we'd have still been tight and cramped and wouldn't have been able to get everything in that we needed. However, having said all that, we've built on, and it looks like we literally built another house onto a house. So I'll show you guys that later, and I'm going from loving it and knowing that it's a really good layout to being like, man, this is excessive. So I'm not sure. I guess we'll let you guys decide when you see it once I get to sharing. Okay, but let me just give you a peek into our living state right now. It has been one of those things. Okay, so the new addition is going to go out the back of the house. All right, so that little mudroom I had showed you previously, that was like a built-in wraparound porch. We tore that off, started digging a hole. There's a sneak peek as to where the addition is going to go. It's off the back of the house, and so when you come to the front, it still looks like a charming old farmhouse, and you don't see the addition in the back. But when you come around the back, there it is. It's huge. And yeah, it does tie together with the old house nicely. I think it's going to look very nice. It's just the size part that to me just feels like it just looks big. Maybe it's just me needing to get used to it. What's wrong? So in my mind, I was like, okay, we're just going to shut off our current living conditions from the new part, and then later we'll just clean that all up. So it'll be like, I was like, we won't be affected much. Surely they'll do all their things back there, and then we'll just tie the house together. Well, I was so wrong. The other thing I was thinking was like, okay, we're hiring a lot of contractors to do this. Nolan wasn't going to be doing much of the work at all because he is so busy with working, and it's just so much better to just hire someone to do. And so we thought we're just going to sit back and watch this addition go up. That is not how these things go. I actually watched a video where someone had said that it's basically a full-time job when you build a house, because there is constant decisions and constant like things that crop up that like the one time we had the wrong shower, and I'm helping buy some of these things. Like I'm doing a lot of Facebook Marketplace to try to keep our costs down. So we're not going with all the grandest, best things. I'm trying to get some like used stuff, some seconds factory things like our showers. We're not doing tiled showers. I'm just getting the prefab shower, whatever. And we were getting seconds, like factory seconds, where they might have a little bit of a blemish. Anyway, so the one that we had, we needed to go get another one because it was the wrong orientation. And so little things like that, like I have to quick run go and come back and yeah. So your days are constantly disrupted like that. And then also decisions that I was thinking are way further down the line. Like, how am I going to organize my closets? Where am I going to put my cleaning supplies? I have a general idea, but like where? Those types of things I suddenly have to know now because, you know, the electrician needs to know where the plugs go. Do I need a plug in this closet? Will I be plugging in some chargeable things? Where's my boot bench going to go? Because the receptacle height makes a difference. And so like suddenly I have to plan like everything, like where exactly the vanity is going to sit, like to the T, because we're putting up, you know, vanity lights, and the codes need to have the electrical systems at a certain spacing. And so from the very get-go, I've just been going nonstop trying to plan almost every detail of how I'm going to be using each space, simply to know where plugs go and all that. So all those little decisions are so consuming, and they take so much time thinking through it. And so it's been almost like a full-time job. So those kinds of decisions just felt like they were nonstop. And I'm telling you, our contractor is doing super well at having everything lined up. There's almost no breathing room. This has went up so fast. And so there's almost no breathing room in between construction workers, because suddenly the plumbing's coming, the electrical's coming, and it's just like all this stuff. I need to make decisions now. And it's like they get this stuff done within a few days, each one. And so there's not a lot of time to think. And I feel like I've just been hardly keeping up mentally, like making these snap decisions. Anyway, and then running for things. And and trying to save money and trying to watch our budget. And yeah, so it's been a lot. And then also, back to this thing where I didn't think people would be in our living space. Well, they are, or they were. So there's HVAC, and they had to go up through our bedroom to get to the attic to put in heating and air. So yeah, they were just constantly tromping through our bedroom, bringing in dust, dirt, and grime. And because they're working up close to where Lexi's nursery is, I have to have her sleep in our room. So those kinds of things, it's just like nap times are like, okay, where do I put her down to sleep? Everything's so noisy. Men constantly everywhere. I'm so ready to have these guys out of my house. So ready to have guys out of my house. It's like they come in, I'm like, what do I do? How do I act in my own house? It took me a while to just be able to focus on my own things because of all the action and people just tromping back and forth. I'm just like, how do I act? I don't know how to act in my own house. What do I do with my hands? Am I supposed to watch? Or does that look like I'm monitoring the activity? Anyway, so that's another thing. It's very hard to concentrate on work when that's happening. And then, as it often happens when you're getting something new to a part of the house, you get inspired for some of the other bits and pieces of your house. And so we had sort of decided on the get-go that we're going to replace the flooring in our kitchen. Now, it was starting to come apart. It was the old snap-together LVP flooring, and the kitchen floor is super uneven, which does not work well for that. And so we needed to have glue-down flooring. Anyway, and so we were like, okay, we should replace it in the kitchen, and then where my desk sits, take that carpet out because that's such a throughway and it's just so gross, and then put the hardwood LVP glue down through there and then out to the new addition. And so that meant tearing out all the old carpet, tearing up the flooring, and then we didn't want the flooring to bump up against the trim and have like a quarter round, so we tore off all the trim. And then we decided, okay, we're going to have the guys come and do our section of the house so we can get that back in order, and then when the new section is done, they'll finish and go out through there. So Nolan tore up the trim, we tore up carpet, got all ready for them. They came and laid down the floor, and then we had to get the trim back up and refit. So it was a whole process. And then in that process, I'm like, okay, these walls really need repainted. They just look horrible. So I started painting walls. That always takes time. I'm telling you, painting is not my thing. It's such a mess, especially when you have a 3-year-old. And it just feels like it just drags on. If you want time to crawl, paint. But anyway, I painted the walls. It just looks amazing to have a fresh coat of paint. And then I had to wait till Nolan got the trim back up, and I still need to paint some of that in where my desk is. But then I was like, okay, I'm going to paint the kitchen. I can do this. So I painted the ceiling one day, and then we waited a while, and I'm like, okay, you know what? We decided to revamp the closet in there since we won't be needing that for coats anymore. It's been amazing. Nolan helped me. Thank him so much. I started it and he finished it. Now I have like room for my kitchen gadgets, like my crock pots and my Instapot and all that. Some of that stuff had just been sitting out in the open because I had nowhere to put it, and it just drove me nuts. Anyway, so once he had that done, he was able to get the trim done the other night, and I was so tired of living in this mess. I'm telling you guys, the level of dirt and grime and mess we're living in right now, like I'm almost up to here. I'm trying very hard to remember that this is such a blessing that I can have this, and that I have to put up with the work and the stress to have the results and the reward at the end. But anyway, and it was just 2 nights ago, I was like, okay, the trim is up, everything is ready for paint. I'm just going to sit down and I'm going to paint until this room is done. And I worked till 2:30 in the morning, and I still didn't get it finished. It just was taking forever. And I was going at it with a brush. I probably shouldn't have been, but there were so many little spaces in my kitchen, like little walls, it just didn't feel like there was a point to bringing out the roller. So, I hardly got any sleep that night, got up and started painting again, and painted the whole next day. And I actually tried like a lime wash look on my 2 arches, and I'm really happy with how that turned out. So, I still have paint on my hands, and I was able to get things somewhat back in order. But here's a little bit of a peek at how everything looks. It's still like a huge disarray. It's not nearly as bad as it was before, but we have went through so many different stages where, you know, our house is just torn apart. Everything had to go into the living room while the flooring was being replaced, and then we were trying to paint, so it was a few days till that was done, and then we got things out of the living room. So yeah, our mental state has slowly been depleting. And through this all, it just reminded me again how much we thrive on routine as humans. And even like when you're in a routine and you look at a project coming up, you're like, oh, it's only going to be like 2 weeks. We can put up with anything for 2 weeks, right? But when you're in that 2 weeks of just mess and grime and dirt and not getting anywhere and being super tired, those 2 weeks feel like almost 2 months. It's just amazing what routine does. And it's just what you need to do to get through it. This is the wall I painted last night. Doesn't that look neat? I love it. And trying to put this room back in order. You can tell the dirt and the grime that just gets in through the whole house. Quick peek. Just look at this grime. Part of the process that we decided to also do was redo our stairway because we're going to be redoing the carpet up here. So, and there's so much traffic. Anyway, so they drywalled in here. Actually not drywalled, they mudded. I got a textured finish. Here's a peek of the upstairs entry into our new addition. And this is Lexi's room. Here is the window that was drywalled in. All the plastic. I had to move a lot of her things into our room so that there was room to work in here and also to save it from getting so dirty. But this room needs repainted here and really cleaned. It's just dirty, dirty, dirty. I don't have a laundry room right now. So our laundry is in our bedroom, at least my washer. Pop it on. So here is my rack. My room's a wreck. Here's my washer. And it empties into our big tub. Okay, so there you have it. I have different stuff, just there's games and books and things shoved under our bed because we had to get them up here for different renovations that are happening and out of the way. So basically all these different rooms, it just feels like there's something happening in every room of this house except for the living room. So the back room where Xander's Lego desk is, that also had a bookcase window that needed to be shut off. And meanwhile, dirt and everything was getting in there. That is also where a bunch of our stuff is going. So it's like a catch-all room to hold things from where our laundry had been before. Our bedroom has books shoved underneath. Xander's room has books and things shoved all throughout it. Lexi's room's in chaos. And dirt. Can I just talk about the dirt, guys? The dirt. The dirt. I think I might cry. I'm getting close to crying. I think one of the worst things about this, even more than just living in this chaos, like I can put up with the chaos for so long. But I think one of the biggest things is just sort of the overwhelmed feeling of knowing what all still has to happen before we can get out of the chaos. And also the knowing of how hard it's going to be to clean this all up. Like, it is going to be a monumental job of cleaning. And that looks really overwhelming to me. So it feels like it's going to be a while till I can get back into a normal state of living. The dirt is like up to your nose, it feels like. Anyway, and I'm at the point, I'm like, I'm not cleaning my house. There's no point in cleaning because it just comes in. It's like, why would I spend hours and hours cleaning when they just keep coming in every day? There's like 3, 5, however many of them every day creating all this dirt. Why would I waste my time cleaning? And then the next day they come and just add to it again. So I'm just going to wait until this is done and then we're going to dig in and get this clean. And so that's sort of our living conditions and state. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of how we've been living, why I'm not posting. I know it's possible to continue uploading videos and post even when something like this is going on. I had done that back when we renovated the house in 2020. But that's a level of busy that few people understand unless you run a YouTube channel, of how crazy it is to film while you're working and then sit down and edit, especially when editing that's like a whole part-time job as well. Anyway, and so I have been implementing things in my life to learn how to say no and try to pace myself. And I already feel like this is so crazy busy. But mental health is so much more important. And this YouTube channel is more of a hobby connection with you guys. Yeah, it's something that I enjoy doing, but as soon as I let it consume my time and take away from my family, it's just not worth it. And there's been 2 books that I've been reading. I've mentioned this one before. It's called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. I cannot recommend it enough. That really, really opened my eyes to how dangerous it is to just push ourselves to insane busy levels all the time. And so ever since I read that book, I've been trying even harder to slow down and enjoy life and cut out things I can cut out. That has been a huge blessing. And now currently I'm working through emotionally healthy spirituality. And this morning I was reading an excerpt which kind of just solidified in my mind again why it's so important to, I'll read it here. Actually, let me run in and get it and I'll read it. All right, this is the book I'm reading, Emotionally Healthy Spirituality by Peter Scazzaro. Is that how you say his name? Highly recommend this book. I really, really like it. Anyway, there's a chapter that I was reading this morning. He's talking about the Sabbath and how important it is to have a Sabbath of rest. And so we're back to talking about this thing of rest and being intentional about rest, slowing down. There's so many good bits in this book. So this is specifically talking about the Sabbath, but I really, really like this. It's also talking about, he also talked about accepting our limits and that we have to almost grieve that we have limits in this life in so many things, our talents, our time. It always feels like there's something that isn't done. And so he was talking about all the excuses that you always have to work on a Sunday. It just always there's more things that just have to be done. And I can relate to that so much. Like when I have something hanging over my head like this, I really struggle to stop working and just rest and lay it down. Like for instance, working till 2:30 in the morning, which I'm glad I did that. I haven't done that for a while. But I'm just so ready to be done. But then there's always something else that gets stacked on top of it. But I'm going to read this one paragraph. We stop on Sabbaths because God is on the throne, assuring us that the world will not fall apart if we cease our activities. I just really like this. Life on this side of heaven is an unfinished symphony. We accomplish one goal and then immediately are confronted with new opportunities and challenges. But ultimately, we will die with countless unfinished projects and goals. And that's okay. It just really hit me. We're never going to be done. It's kind of depressing and also kind of a relief to just let go of that. It says, God is at work taking care of the universe. He manages quite well without us having to run things. When we are sleeping, he is working. So he commands us to relax, to enjoy the fact that we are not in charge of his world, that even when we die, the world will continue on nicely without us. Every Sabbath reminds us to be still and know that he is God and to stop worrying about tomorrow. That just really hit me this morning. And I'm like, you know what? And that's why I've been just trying to, in so many things, like this YouTube channel, I just dropped out because it's just life. You need to say no, you need to stop, you need to just balance your life and things are just going to continue. It doesn't matter. Sometimes you can put so much importance on something in your own mind and when really you have it switched all around. And then he also quoted Thomas Merton has written, there is a pervasive form of contemporary violence, activism, and overwork. The rush and pressure of modern life are a form, perhaps the most common form, of its innate violence. To allow oneself to be carried away by a multitude of conflicting concerns, to surrender to too many demands, to commit oneself to too many projects, to want to help everyone in everything is to succumb to violence. It kills the root of inner wisdom, which makes work fruitful. Anyway, and they also share the story about, I believe it was these 2 wagon trains headed west, and they had this argument on whether they should travel on Sunday or rest. And I think that the group split up, and the one group decided to travel every day, never take a rest, and the other group took Sundays off. And the group that took the day off got there before the group that didn't. And it's because they had a time to refresh, and the horses got times to, rejuvenate, refresh, restore energy. And they made so much more time on the 6 days that they worked and traveled than those that worked for 7 days. Anyway, so good book. If you want to read it, And that was my challenge for today. And so I'm trying to just let go of all the things I want to do and have done now. Just relax in this process. I'm not going to have it all done. And as much as I want to just work, and just dig in till I drive myself insane, it just feels like it's never ending. And it's just going to be one thing on top of the other. Okay, my brain, I'm just rambling once again. I'm sorry. It's been quite the few weeks. But it's good, and I'm excited for what's coming. And I'm just telling myself this is a season. We will get through it. We will get back to normal. And the dirt and the grime will eventually go away, hopefully. And if not, I guess I won't have dirt in heaven. My mom, when I was growing up, my mom would always say, one thing I'm so looking forward to in heaven is there won't be any dirt to clean. And I always thought she was kind of crazy. And now I get exactly what she means. It just feels like you're never on top of the dirt, ever. Especially now. So when can you expect me to start uploading again? I really don't know. I can't give a definite answer to that. I thought by now I'd be already uploading. But in all reality, what I really want is to have the majority of the work for the addition finished and my house cleaned and us back in a normal routine before I start uploading, because I do have a backlog of videos to catch you up on like what's been happening. I've been filming here and there. But I want to have a routine and the dirt and the grime out before I'm able to like settle into a routine of filming. But from there, you know, it'll be like decorating and planning colors for Lexi's room and for the bathrooms and all that. I think that's going to be kind of a longer process, and that's more fun. Once the house is clean, you know, those kinds of things I'll spread out over time, and it'll be fun to film and edit, and there won't be quite the pressure to get all that done. But for now, we're just trying to get all the main... Here, hold on, stand up. There you go. She got her hair. There you go. But for now, I'm just trying to get our main living area sort of back to normal and get all the big changes and all the dirt and all the grime behind us. And once we have a little bit more of a routine and that settled in, then hopefully I'll start posting again. And that might be quite a few weeks yet. I don't know. But I thought I owed it to you guys, for those of you that I just dropped off of. I'm still blown away that people actually enjoy coming on here and following us. And I'm sorry this is so washed out. Lexi, stop, okay? But thank you for being here, and thanks for your patience till we get back to a schedule. And yeah, I hope you all have a blessed day. And one more thing, you might find this kind of funny. I don't know if you follow our Instagram account for Mama Java, which is our coffee brand that I started. And one of the people that supports Mama Java, they posted about a new mama that really likes her coffee. And they shared the videos with us, and we're going to be making an advertisement out of it, but I'll share it here in closing because I think it's just amazing. It's so awesome. Anyway, so that is my rambly update video. I hope you all have a lovely weekend. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you around.
All right, it's time to make some coffee. And I have 2 cups. I have a special mama that needs some coffee. So I'm out here with my cows. And here's a special mama named Phantom that loves coffee. She drinks Mama Java coffee. And she loves her coffee in the morning. Yes, she does. Espresso, dark roast. You can have lots of energy today, girl. Mama Java fuels all types and species of mamas. You're gonna have lots of energy today. That's what my second cup was for.